pretend like I know it all, see it all. You know, what she can come and give me is that insight to say, hey, that's not what you think. I know what you're thinking, and that's, you know, based on what you're saying, that would be right. But let me tell you, let me give you some more information, and that more information would have caused me to say, oh, you know what? And I would not have had that regret. And so that's what I mean by the balance is, and it goes vice versa, man. There's times where, you know, I'm the guy who will say like, nah, you know, let's not spend money on that. Why? Because that's not a good purchase, you know. And it's like, and she know, if I say it, she know, like, I done thought it through. You know what I'm saying? I always tell people, we had that balance and we work well, but we have to, you know, we have to be in that communication with each other, and we have to be listening to each other and vice versa. And then, you know, we got to clarify when we make mistakes. You know, we got to come in and say, you know what? I always say, if you're married, you don't know how to say I'm sorry, then you ain't gonna be married long. You know, if you got kids, you gotta learn how to apologize to your kids. I know, man. But by the way, it's easier for me to apologize to my wife than it is to apologize to my kids. It's hard for me to apologize to my kids because you feel like, man, you know, whatever they did was still wrong. But he's like, no, you're right. What they did is wrong, but the way you carried it out, where you responded, was worse, and you older, so you knew better. And so I have to go to them from time to time. You know, even my youngest daughter still and say, hey, you know, I'm sorry. You know, I was wrong on that. And it hurt. It hurt. But you know what? I grow through that because I learned, like, I'm not going to do that again. And, you know, but that's, you know, that's the balance, man.
So when you say you apologize to your children, now, look, I got to say, when you apologize to them, hold on. Hold on, listen.
Don't quote me and say it's easy.
No. When you apologize to them, are you apologizing because how you spoke to them or how you disciplined them?
It could be both. It could be both. Like it's funny, the one that I think about recently, like I was thinking about today, you know, unrelated to this. I don't know what brought it up in my mind, but I thought about that incident. I visualized it. I was like, I was too hard on her. You know, that wasn't like a case where I needed to do a spanking, right? That would have been more of a talk to her or take something from her. But in the moment, and I know what it was, you know, I was probably tired from work or fill in whatever excuse, you know, legitimate excuse you want to put in there. And I just reacted because I was like, what? You know, I don't want her thinking like that's okay. And it was like, that was wrong. You know, I was overboard because sometimes it's the proportion that you do something. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, you're supposed to correct your kids. Definitely, man. You know, shoot, man, that's all I do all day long. You know, but I also realize I'm also trying to do things like God would do it, be proportioned, right? You know, there's a very powerful, a verse that said that God does not retain his anger forever, right? He doesn't deal with us, you know, according to what we deserve. That's in Psalm 103, I believe, man. And I think about that passion. And he also said he's a father. He knows we just dust. And so when you're dealing with a child, even when I'm disciplining, I try to make, and that's my wife actually put me up on it, saying never discipline the child in anger. He said, because that have more to do with you than have to do with them. When you just, you know, you're just angry because they upset you and they offended you and you got that pride or the ego, or whatever it is, and you just like, oh, I'm going to teach you not to disrespect me. That's really not about them. That's about you feeling slighted. As opposed to what I had to learn how to do is I go pause and pray. If I'm going to discipline my kids, I go somewhere and I pray first. Right. I mean, if sometimes stuff in the media, you got to separate them or do whatever. But there's a lot of time I got to go pause and I pray. And even my wife, you know, and by the way, this is true of I got older kids too. I got kids that's in their 20s. Right. You know what I'm saying? I got kids that's young. I got kids that's old. Right. Even though I'm talking with one that's older, I go walk away first and I pray and I sit down. And I say, all right. And then I use it as an opportunity for Jesus to teach me. And I said, teach me. And then I walk through what I'm going to say to him, what I'm going to say to them. I walk through it with him. And when I know it's right, then I go in and, man, I can tell you, listen, Dennis, I'm going to tell you this, man, from doing it the wrong way, I can tell you, man, when to do it right, you could tell. Because my kid, they receive, in other words, there's a way, me and you as men, we could talk and we could have a difference. And there's a way I can get your attention on. So let's say me and you have a beef or whatever. They got two ways I can communicate to you that I'm not happy and that you got to change if we're going to still have this relationship. Obviously, I could do it by blowing up. But when I blow up, whenever something blows up, it's detonating, and it has collateral damage, and it takes out other stuff with it, unintended consequences. When you blow up, that's what you do. But if you're in control, right? It's a controlled discipline or controlled conversation. A person actually, it has more impact on that person because it takes you out of the situation and says, hey, basically, don't have nothing to do with me. but the way you handled that was incorrect. And I'm gonna tell you why, and I'm willing to hear what you got to say. But let me express to you from my heart why that. Why, in other words, it's gonna land even more. It's gonna land even harder. And what I found with my kids, man, is when I have the uncontrolled demolition going on, it really doesn't help. And so we all go through that. But like even my kids, my older kids, I have to sit down, I have to pray, and then I sit down and talk with them. And I could tell from their face, like, and they'll even tell me, like, nah, Dad, I knew it was wrong. I knew it was wrong. Even my old ones, like, yeah, I know that was wrong. My bad. I was like, hey, kill that. Don't do that no more. I'm disappointed. And they'll be like, won't happen again. I got it. But I had to learn that stuff, man. And that came from having a wife, having kids and also, man, being willing to be wrong sometimes, man. There's no, I'm not gonna step in this thing and say, like I said, I have to apologize to my kids, have to do things differently. But I learned, and that's what I used to think growth looked like. This, man, you're just growing, you're becoming wiser, man. Growth looked like this, it looked like this, it's up, it's down, but as long as it's going in a direction, as long as it's going forward, that's really what the main thing is when you correct yourself and you apologize. Man, I'll tell you, man, I hate apologizing to my kids to this day, man. It's like giving them money. It's like I'm like, man, but I grow when I do that because I realize, like, no, I want to show them at the very least, this is what it means to have, this is what it's like to be human. This is what it's like to be a sincere person, man. And it's okay to say you're wrong on stuff. And by the way, they know already, but when they hear you handle it, you're showing them this is how you handle your faults. Because we all gonna have to learn how do you handle all of this, how you handle who you are, your failures, and all that. Is you handle it with grace, and that's for me is like by the way, that's going back to what I was saying at the beginning. If I was a bachelor, I was all by myself. There's nothing wrong with all that, man. I would have missed out on all of this. Man. This made me, man. I feel like Job some mornings walking around here, man. I got wisdom, man. I got stuff that I've been forged. I got stuff that I know about, I'm aware of, that I would not have learned in isolation or just in self-fulfillment and not thinking about others, but now being pulled out and sacrificing, like you said, grinding, man, doing all that stuff, man. I'm a different man than I was when I first started this thing, man. I look at myself now, I said, man, if I ever ran up on my young self, I probably would look at me and be like, man, I don't even recognize me, man. I'm a different man. I'm a better man. You know what I'm
saying? Yeah. You have any sons?
None. I got all daughters.
I got all daughters. I figured that this is the way you was talking. So I have daughters too, but now my current wife, she has sons. So it's a different beast. Okay. You have no, I'm serious. That's why I was letting you talk, because I was listening to you, because I'm like, no, listen, you got to have daughters, because if you have men, it's totally different. There is no showing, let me apologize. It depends on the circumstance, because I'm gonna give you an example why I say it depends on the circumstance.
Go for it.
Because now when I got married with my current wife, her baby son was 15. So you talk about 15, man coming in his life. His dad was around, but not really in his life. Now I bring structure.
Yeah.
So we had some words, not bad words, because he's very disciplined. He's very like good. He has manners. So God knew the test that I would have. It wouldn't be a big test, because listen, like I said, just having daughters, and then now a young man coming, I come in his life, and I'm like, you got to do this, you got to do that. You know what I'm saying? At first it was kind of difficult, but then it wasn't. One time I was sitting on the couch, right, and the man in me had got up, and I'm gonna tell you why I said the man in me is because he was yelling at his mother. Now, mind you, I said he's 15.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, whoa. I said, yo, why you yelling at your mother? Nah, we're not gonna have that here. So first you gotta stick your chest out, like, what? Like, I'm like, yo, listen, you my son now. And some people would not be able to say what I'm saying right now, is because that's their personality. Mine, I mean what I say. Like, I'm going to treat you like my son. I'm not calling you my stepson. You my son. So it's like, yo, this is what we're not going to have that here, because guess what? I love your mother. And if I don't love your mother, guess what? Then I can't love you. I got to love your mother, and I got to love you. unconditionally, because guess what? It's like I said, it's a package deal. She comes with you, and if I'm going to love her unconditionally, I got to love you. There is no my stepson, no, I don't believe in all that. Some people do. That's them.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? Because then when you come and listen, when you say this is my half brother, this is my half sister, you're not loving them unconditionally. You know what I'm saying? There is no such thing as that's my half. I got brothers. I got 5. There is no. They think not me. No, there's no half brother. Listen, because you got a different father. You my brother. Like what? You go to the doctor, they're gonna tell you, yeah, that's your brother. Period. They're not gonna say, oh, that's your half brother. They'll say it's your brother. Am I correct?
Oh no, you're spot on,
Hardy,
man. I'm glad, and what you're saying, man, is on point, bro. What you're saying is on point. So I agree with you wholeheartedly.
So to go back to my son. So here was another thing, and it, like you said, it's come with wisdom. And like I told him, and I tell his mom the same thing. I said, I did not come in. God did not allow me to come into your life to take. He allowed me to come into your life to add to your life. So there was a situation with me and him, and he was talking to this young lady, and I saw him. Now I'm a man, so I said, if I'm just thinking about my little one, right? I said, yo, I see him talking to her on the phone. It was video chatting. He had his shirt off. I said, look, listen. I said, look, put your shirt on when you're talking to her on the phone. I said, because if that was my daughter and I seen a man talking to her with no shirt, I'll hang the phone up. Hang the phone up.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So,
that's a wrap.
So look, the mother saw him with no shirt and was like, oh my gosh, hold on. Babe, I'm on a podcast. Huh? 5 minutes away. I'm on a podcast. Bye, babe.
Shout out to the family.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it. So yeah. So the mother saw him on the phone. She was like, "Oh, hang up right now." So he had to write a whole note to the mother, and I told him, I said, "See, I didn't tell you something that I didn't know. I knew that because if that is a mother on the other end, like I said, men, we can be enticing to women, and women can be enticing to us. You understand what I'm saying? So it's important to how you carry yourself. Now, this young man, like I said, I big him up because he is very intelligent. He is a very good young man, and he's always been that way.
That's good, man. That's a blessing.
Like I said, back a big time. My dad said, he said, listen, it could have been worse, but God allowed me to come into the light and it not be worse, because at first, the oldest son didn't want to talk to me, the oldest daughter, but God let them, the 2 oldest ones, find out who I was. So it was just so happened that my sister's boyfriend knew them. So they went to him and was like, what kind of guy is he? They said, yo, nah, God-fearing man. He don't hang in the streets. He don't do none of that. And I'm like, nah, I was glad that they did that, because it was good that they found out that I'm a real genuine guy. Like, and they wanted to protect their mother. So he told him, he's like, nah, he not like that. And I'm not, you know what I'm saying? So, and then I got to this point, and then once the oldest son, and I told my wife, I was like, don't worry about it, because he was not coming around. He's like, I don't want to see it. He didn't want to see me, but I was like, don't worry about it, babe. Listen, when people get to know me, they love me. I want them to love me, because that's the Christ in me. It's to show love. It's sometimes we get some family members, we bump heads, but at the end of the day, if they really got to know me and really loved me, they would say, you know what, that's Terrell for you. That's Dennis for you. They would say that, you know what I'm saying? Because I really don't. I'm not out here trying to hurt people. I'm trying to help. You know what I'm saying? As well as keep myself growing. And that's why, I see that the podcast is a new thing. So I said, you know what? That's a platform that I can use for myself, for my business, and to help other men and help young ladies as well. It's like that's what I'm here for. You know what I'm saying? God allowing me to do these things and and prosper in doing the things that I do. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm glad that He allowed me to have 2 sons. And the oldest son, listen, the crazy part is this, because I experienced it. And I'm saying to myself, I said, yo, this is what I'm going to do, what I'm not going to do. The oldest son, I tell him I love him. And I mean it. Because guess what? I want him to understand, listen, just because and look, that's why today's topic is about relationships with moms and dads. Is because look, he don't have a good relationship with his father. So guess what? God allowed me to come in his life and tell him, listen, I would never tell you nothing negative. I'm all about positive. I tell people all the time, positive plus a positive equals a positive. You never get somebody, you not listen. You got 2 negative people, you're gonna get negativity. You're not getting nothing positive out of that. But when you got 2 positive people, you're gonna get positive. You're gonna be getting encouragement, uplifting. You're gonna get all those type of things. But when you're not trying to pour into other people's lives and trying to help other people, how you expect somebody to do that for you? And you're not doing the same thing. They say what goes around comes around. So if you giving and giving and giving, somebody's going to give it to you when you need it, when you least expect it.
You're right on
that. And that's what like today's topic is about, family. It's about mother and father relationship, because I truly believe and stand on that's our foundation, especially for a man. Listen, when you want to learn how to love a woman, look at your mother. Look how your mother loves your father. And if that's not the case, your stepmother, if you want to say stepmother, your stepmother, look how your father treats his wife. So you'll learn how to treat your wife. You'll learn, I'm having a tough time with my 2 daughters, and but guess what? I tell anybody, I love my kids. I love my children, right? My children, I will not let nobody steal my joy. My grandmother used to say that. I let nobody. They my heart. Listen, they my heart. But I don't let nobody steal my joy. You know what I'm saying? And they don't love me the way they should love me. Because guess what? They got their hand out all the time, and all I do is say, "Here you go." And I try not, as I was growing up, I was bad. I was into everything, fighting, getting suspended, doing everything, right?
Yeah.
But though that's my testimony to see where I'm at today, how I process, how I got through the storm. You know what I'm saying? I made it because my parents, without them, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't even, be the man I am today, especially for my father. I give my father a shout out. You know what I'm saying? I give him props because, without him, I wouldn't even be the man I am today. So I'm big on having a relationship with your father. And sometimes if the father don't want a relationship, if God put a man in your life, build on that relationship. Do give him something that your dad didn't give you. You feel me? And especially if he's a good man. Doesn't mean that every man is going to be good. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about a man that's going to cheat on his wife and you think that's a real man. That ain't a real man. That is not a real man at all. Hitting on women. No. That's what, because I promise you, if you have daughters, you beating on women.
You don't want to see that the other way.
No, because then you want to go get a gun. Then you want to wild out. Guess what? Think about what you did
that's somebody else
to somebody else.
Yeah.
Or somebody.
No. I trust me. I thought about that many years, bro. Yeah, because and that tamps you down. That tamps you down because now you realize, wait a minute, that's somebody else's daughter. This is my wife is somebody's daughter. He care about her, and I don't want to, like you said, man. You feel it. You feel it from the heart, But and I will say this, man. There's the one of the going back to what I was saying earlier, man. All this is learning. Right. I never imagined all of this that I would be learning and experiencing, And so now I look on the flip side and be like, yeah, I had to grind, man. I remember times working, man. I had to stand back from the train platform because I had worked so many shifts. I knew if I stood next to the edge, I probably was gonna fall asleep and fall off on the train or something like that, man, on the track. I multiple nights I would have that'd be my thing, stand back because I'm half asleep, I'm half asleep on the train, and so grinding, doing whatever I got to do for the family. But now as I look back, man, and if I had it all over do again, I still would do it, man. I love my family, love my wife, and it made me something better, something stronger, and it gave me a perspective on life that I would not have had. And also, man, I'm gonna tell you, man, my deepest joy is, man, my family now, man. Obviously I got joy in God, and I thank God for where I'm at, but I thank God for, all my ladies, as I call them, if I call anyone on the phone, man, they want to talk to me, they want to see me, they want to spend time with me, they miss me. And, I look and just say, man, that's a full life. You know what I mean? I heard a guy, this a guy from the Middle East told me this. I don't know if you ever heard this proverb before, but he said a single man, he said he lived like the married man worked like a dog, but died like a king. And it said the single man lives like a king, but he may die like a dog. And now that's not true for everybody. I know some single guys that's not true for. But it encouraged me when I heard that, because I was still in the part where I was working like a dog, working hard, grind. I was like you said, sometimes they don't appreciate it. By the way, it's always like that, meaning there's some stuff that you just carry because like, hey, they're not going to understand what it costs or what it took. And they may get a little bit of it when they get older, but some stuff, man, only but you still do it. You still do it. But at the end, what I see, man, is you do live like a king. You do live like a king, because you look after you get through it and long enough, they start to come back and they start to realize, like, nah, Dad, man. I had my oldest tell me, she's like, she told me this a couple weeks ago. We were going somewhere, and she just, out of the blue, we weren't even on the topic. She said, "I appreciate you," and now that's big because she don't say that often. And it's not like it was my birthday or some special occasion. She just said it out of the blue. We was talking about something, and she just leaned over. She's like, "Man, Dad, I appreciate you." But you know what it is? The world. Like she's starting to learn. Like, you know what? When you got to go and you got to pay for this or do this, and not everybody love you. Not everybody's forgiving. Not everybody's merciful. Not everybody got your best interest in mind. Not everybody giving you that good advice. Some people trying to get something from you. And she like, nah, Dad, I appreciate it. When she told me that, she just gave me that look. And I said, girl, you don't know, you just made my whole week. But because you don't get that all the time, especially Dad. That's the dad dilemma. That's the dad dilemma. You hustling, but the thanks go to everybody else. You know what I'm saying? But, you carry, I always say, God say, you want to know how I feel. That's how God said, that's how he feel. He feed everybody, clothe everybody. And half of the folks don't even give him thanks. And so he said, you want to be like me? Let me show what it's like to be me. And that means you're going to do some stuff and people don't thank you for it or don't appreciate it. But he said, you still, because you're who you are, you still do it because you're doing it because of love of them. And God say, I'm going to give you the fellowship. But I'm going to tell you, man, Dennis, if I had it all over to do again, thank God for my wife. Thank God for my kids, man. And it was a time in my life I thought I was just going to be single, man. I was going to be, kind of on my own, doing my thing. And, I'm the kind of guy that would have been easy for me. It would have been easier. But this pulled me out. This kind of pulled me out of myself. And this also, it gave me something to fight for. It gave me something to really, give myself for, give my life for. And I feel rich, not because of money, but because the people in my life, man. I feel, I just feel like a full life. You know what I'm saying?
So did you have a good relationship with your mother and father?
My dad, like I said, my dad, I didn't really know him. He died. I could probably count on, I count on one hand the number of times I met the dude. But I always honor him to this day. I say I give, I honor my father, even though he's not alive and even though he wasn't, so my mom, great relationship with her, and there was a point in my life where she really started looking at me as being, like her leader, you know what I'm saying? Because she saw, I got up of age and I just always been a hustler, making sure family had, I say, my joke, I was in my teenage years, I was paying my mom's bills, you know what I'm saying?
So the absence of your father made you stronger.
Absolutely. So and if I had it all over to do again, if I had, I told a dude this one time, this is a Jewish guy, and he had lost his mom. I had lost my dad, and we was talking, this is a long time ago, but we was talking, and, he had lost his mom when he was young, and I lost my dad when I was young. And we was both saying it's a different experience. I said, and, I hate to say, I said, man, I can't imagine if I had lost my mom, and, and then we was talking about, other things. But then one thing I had said to him, I said, hey, for both of us, though, if we had it over to do again, obviously we still love our loved ones, but we had it all over to do again, we would be different people because that struggle, that loss, like for me, especially in the case of losing my father, that completely changed who I was. You know what I'm saying? That made, made me step up, you know what I'm saying? And it gave me a courage. It gave me a sense of, a strength where, that's why I said, that's why I'm decisive. I'm like, this is the plan. We're doing it. Let's go, because I had to do that since I was young, you know what I'm saying? But if I had it all over to do again, no disrespect on Dad, I wouldn't change it, man, because I'll tell everybody this, man. God been my father, man. I've been praying, man. Everything I needed to learn in life, he taught me better than anybody could. And what I also learned, and this is heavy too, even if you had a good dad, this is what I learned from my other brothers, like other friends. They said, hey, man, I had a good dad, but I still had to come and learn the lesson that you got firsthand, which is we all need God to be our father. And I got a friend now, man. I got two friends.
Right.
They had dads when I was younger, and their dads had passed away. And both of them have come and told me, hey, man, you learned something that we only started learning now, but you learned it when you was younger, that you got to go to God. And they said, hey, we always had a dad. And they was like, now that their dad's gone, they always look like this. Hey, dad, they had to learn how, like, who do I go for advice? And my joke, not my joke, but, they knew my whole life, I couldn't look over that right shoulder and see that dude right there give me that good advice, give me, or throwing, putting 100 in my hand or something like that, or 200 in my hand with inflation or whatever it is. And so I had to always look over this shoulder and be like, God, it's me and you again. Let's do this. And now my friends, they come to me, right? They had dad, but they come to me and they say, hey, bro, how you handle this? How you do it? And I was like, oh, I get it now. And one guy even told me, he said, man, I see how I'm learning how you felt, man, growing up, man. It's like, because they said my default is go look at my dad, but he ain't there. And I said, hey, different seasons, different times. But I say, in one sense, we all end up fatherless at one time or another. And what I learned is I'm never fatherless, man. I'm never fatherless. And hey, man, me and God, we thick like this. And and I'll stand amongst men any day of the week. Even though I don't have sons, I got some spiritual ones. And and I tell you, man, and I don't have them just in one part of the world. I got them around the globe. And I've trained men, I've trained pastors, I've trained people who stand. I train men who look other men in the face and give them orders and directions. Man, I got leaders, man, that I've sent out into the world. And I got men that when I call them, they come because they know, if you say you need me, because you've been there, I'm a real dude, man. I don't, because remember I've been without. I know what it is to go without, and so I know I became the man that I always wanted to have in my life, right? And I became that man. It didn't happen immediately. In fact, sometimes seems it's only happening now. But I started to see the outcome of like, this is the man that I wanted in my life. That a real dude, loving dude, careful dude. But at the same time, I'm the dude, man. I'll call you on the phone and say, hey, bro, we got to handle business. This is what we got to do. And I'll tell you the tough stuff if necessary. But God made me that way. God taught me those balances. He taught me how to be that man, like Christ. He taught me how to, Jesus led 12 men. And now not one of them backed down from. I mean, he knew, like they knew he was in charge. But here's the thing, because he had all of that power, he had all of that grace, but he was still the man who loved them, who served them, he washed their feet, he took care of them, and they knew he was going to lay down his life for them. And so that's my model. Is I tell everybody any day of the week, man. I always tell some of my friends that obviously I got friends that's not don't follow Christ, don't love God. And I catch them sometimes. They're like, "Oh man, I like you, bro. You cool. You this." And every now and then, when I'm in a good mood, I tell them, I say, "Man, it's not me you like." I say, "You like Jesus." And they're like, "What you mean?" I say, "When you see me acting like this, when you know I'm good, when you're in a bind, you need to call somebody to get some money. I'm good for it, and I'm not gonna put your business out there. That's Jesus." And I say, when you see me, you tell me stuff you don't want nobody on the planet to know, not even your wife, not even your friends, and I keep it to myself. I learned that from him. And so I said, what you don't realize is you close to me, but really, you wouldn't like me. I know what I look like without him. You wouldn't like me without him. And I know what I look like without him. It don't look too good. It's real cold.
Look,
it's real cold.
You say them things. Look, you say them things that they ain't expect you to say when you. Because I know that's me. I'm telling you right now. What? I'd be like,
I caught a few people like that. I told them, I said, you don't like me. I said, it's not me you like. It's Jesus you like. And I said, you just don't know it. And I said, you always act like you don't have no patience for him or no time for him. But I said, really, all this good stuff in me, that's him. And I said, if you ever hung out with him, you can have that same relationship with him and find out for yourself. I said, I'm a weak imitation of him. I'm a miniature version of him. I got my own flaws, but I said, he the real deal, no flaws. He definitely not miniature. And so, I use that sometimes to tell people, like, cause people do, like you said, I like what you said about you. That's what made me think about, like you said, people get to know you and they like you, but that's the God in you, man.
Of course.
Real talk.
Look, I got so many testimonies, so many stories. I remember, when I started my job, I was 30, and I'm serious. My attitude, my mindset was not the way it is now. I'm 46,
Yeah.
about to be 47. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Nice.
claiming 47 because I ain't going nowhere right now, no time. So I got a lot of work to do.
Go forward, dude.
I got a lot of work to do. But when I started at my job, I was 30, so I wasn't humble. So God said, "Okay, you're not humble. I'm gonna make you humble." So in order for me to get to the morning time, God said, before you even go to that journey, you have to learn how to be humble. So I had to learn how to be humble at the job because the people at my job, they were older than me. Like I said, I was the youngest one there at that time, 30. Man. Everybody was in their late 40s, going on in their 50s, getting ready to retire. And man, I had a mouth on me. So I'm like, who you talking to? I'll slap you. I'll punch you in your face. Man. So that's at 30. So in order, now the people in the morning time was much older than the people at nighttime. So just imagine how I would go into the morning if I wasn't humble. So God said, I'm a humble.
That wouldn't go over well.
So I had to become humble. And once I became humble, I was able to move in the morning. There's an old saying that my grandmother used to say, gotta make your enemies your footstool.
Oh, yeah.
So they were all against me at first. So God used them to put me where I needed to be. But also I had to learn humbleness. You know what I'm saying? I had to learn that. And once I, grasped that, I moved to the next level, the next journey. And then, one thing I'll never forget, God rest his soul. He passed. He used to say to me, Dennis, this is so funny. Like, you about to laugh. You ready? Get your stomach ready. Get your stomach ready. He said, Dennis, when I first met you, I was scared of you. You came in here like a big old bear, right? He said, but look, once I got to know you, you like a big old teddy bear. That stay with me forever. He was like, man, you ain't hurting nobody. And sure enough, I'm not. But I'm just ain't gonna be. I'm no pushover. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a pushover, but I'm just. It's like I don't have the energy to be getting mad and want to fight, and then I gotta worry about the consequences of me fighting my actions. It's like I don't really like. I don't like working on the consequences of my actions. So I'm always wise what I say and what I do. I'm still for me. They always tell me about my delivery. So I'm still a work in progress how I deliver things to people, because when I speak with power. I speak with authority. I don't speak like I'm soft. So,
hey, that's from God, man. That's from God.
Speaking in authority doesn't mean that you have to yell. It means that you got to be able to talk, and so they can receive it. Because when you yelling, nobody can receive something yelling. You can't receive that. So that's a work in progress for me. It's how I deliver things, how I talk. Because my wife always say that to me. Oh, it's your delivery. It's your delivery. I'll be like, you listen to me?
Thank God for the water.
You know what I'm saying? I'll be like, okay, my delivery. But then also, and we were going to marriage counseling, and my marriage counselor at that particular time was like, no, it was no problem, just healthy
therapy, that's normal, man. I did it.
For marriage.
I had to do it.
And they like,
oh yeah.
Yeah, they say, oh, she said your delivery, Dennis, you gotta work on your delivery. I'm like, okay. But then as time went on, I realized that okay, they keep saying that, so let me work on it. Because you know what? Sometimes women are delicate. So if I'm going to speak the word of God to people, right?
What'd you say? Repeat again. I missed what you said. Repeat again. You said women what? I didn't catch that part.
If I'm going to do that, I have to be able to bring it gentle, so they can receive it. Because when you
you got to know yours.
They're not trying to hear that. They're like, what is he talking about?
There's a few that do.
You gotta be smooth. I ain't talking about being cunning and conniving. I'm talking about being smooth. It's a smooth transition, so you can understand it, so you can receive it. You know what I'm saying? So you can digest it. You know what I'm saying? It's not rough, and that's how you gotta present it sometimes. And then.
Nah, that even blesses you on your job and everywhere else, man. Yeah, it shows up in a lot of other different places as well. I think I lost you. Okay. I think I lost Dennis. But he was dropping some good points there. He's dropping some good points, man. I think one of the things I'll add that, as he was talking about, just, the benefits of having a wife and like I said, I never thought the stuff I'm saying now, I never expected myself to be saying it. But I look back, I could say it with joy. I could say it with, I said it with a little bit of a laugh because, like I said, I never thought I'd be saying it. But the lessons I learned and, the rounding out that I needed, some of those corners, some of those edges I needed to have sanded smooth and rounded out, I got that from my wife. And obviously I got daughters too, so they helped out as well. And I'm still learning, but I can see who I am now, especially this year, this time back, going back decades now. And I say, man, I wouldn't trade the world. I wouldn't go back to that. That's where, where I am now is a blessing, and I'm enjoying it. And I know there's more to grow and more to learn, but I am enjoying it. And, it's something you reflect on differently. And sometimes in the moment you get, you kind of get lose sight of all of that we all learning. We all growing, we all, learning, and we all got to do some corrections. And it's all right. The finished product is what's going to look good. And that's what I keep my mind on, is the finished product. We lost Dennis. I don't know if he's going to be able to join us again here. Mm-hmm. Let me see if he can rejoin us here. Let me see. All right, he says he's back.
You back?
Okay, I see you.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I lost connection or whatever. But man, what was I saying? I lost my train of thought. I was like, well, what happened?
You're talking about your wife and just your delivery and stuff like that. How?
Oh yeah. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah. So that's the most important thing. Your delivery. Because see, right now we living in these last and evil days, man. I'm telling you right now,
you got
it is serious.
Yeah, yeah. It's there. I'm losing you a little bit. I don't know. I'm not sure if you're able to hear me, but I think it's losing you just a little bit.
Mario, can you hear me?
Yeah, Mario. I hear you now. Yeah, I can hear you now. I hear you now.
Yeah, I guess it was some. I guess I don't know, some little difficulties, but yeah. So that's the whole gist of the things. When it comes down to speaking to people, especially like we talked about earlier about speaking to your kids. You got nowadays the society says how we should speak to our children so they can receive it. But then in some sense, sometimes it's how you say it to your children so they can receive it too. So I was talking to one of the guys early today, right? One of my brothers. I said, do God test us? I'm asking, do God test us?
Oh yeah, me? Oh yeah, daily. Daily.
You think God tests us? Or do God give us
the
tools to overcome? Okay, I gotta respect that, but I think God give us the tools to overcome the things that come our way.
Oh yeah. Well, both. The Bible say both, so I agree with both. You I had an old head tell me this once.
Do you test your children?
Yeah, I absolutely do. Yeah, I test them. because there are times where, for me, one of the things I want to do is not. So I never tempt them. I never do nothing to tempt them to lead them in the wrong way. But there's sometimes where I'll do things to say, and I know what I'm going to do, but I'll do it to see, like, hey, let me give you opportunity to see what's in your heart. Let me give you opportunity to see, like, hey, I'm not going to assume. Let me give you a challenge. In other words, I want you to step up. I want you to meet the challenge. And so I'll tell them, but it's open. I'll tell them straight out, like, hey, I know this is going to be challenging, but I want you to do it. And, and they sometimes they'll push back or whatever, but I was like, I know you can. Because that's the other thing. When you're a parent, you know what they, you kind of already have a sense of what they're capable of, and you don't want to set a limit. And so it's time to grow. It's time to stretch. That's something also I said my wife is good at too, because she'll be like, hey, we got to challenge so-and-so in this way. And it's like, you think she's ready? She's like, yeah, she's ready. And then you only find out on the other side, yeah, they was ready. But they don't know, you know how it is. You got to go through something sometimes. And sometimes it's got to be, it's got to be tough. And it's like, you know what? Hey, no, I'm going to let you experience that a little bit. Some stuff I let them experience. Because, it's the old thing where you tell a kid, don't touch the stove, right? The classic example, right? You could keep telling them, but if they touch it, right, that lesson is going to be, now they know it. There's two forms of knowledge, right? I'll put it like this. You hear some people say, you hear some people say, I'm a visual learner. I'm an auditory learner, right? And I often say some people is posterior learners, right? Some people learn from sight. Some people learn from ear. Some people learn from getting kicked in the behind. And that's a posterior learner. That sometimes if somebody hard-headed, if your head is hard, sometimes you only learn on the other side of pain. And, yeah. Sometimes I say, hey, you know what? You got to, I definitely let them go through some stuff, but at the same time, they always know, hey, we there. I'm there. I'll pull you out if need be. But no, and we tell them straight, like, hey, y'all realize, I tell people, I said, man, y'all realize the way I was brought up, there's my expectation of you is higher because I know what people are capable of doing. I like you mentioned about the generation and the time we're living in the last days, but I still say, hey, what people do and don't do is on them. What we do and what we don't do is on us. And so the expectations up here. And once again, I'm gonna keep quoting my wife, but my wife told me this. Your kids live up to your expectations, either good or bad. They're gonna live up to your expectations. And so what your expectations are, and you keep those expectations, even when they flag and even when they're not doing it, you still keep the expectation. Like, no, you got it in you. You got it in you, human. You got it in you.
Can you see me?
I can hear you now.
Brother Martin.
Oh, you said continue?
Okay. Yeah, I know this. Yeah.
No, but I all this, I'll say this.
I was just checking.
I used to think, man, hey, how am I gonna be a husband? I don't know, I have the basics, but I need a lot more, there's a lot of lessons I had to learn. How I'm gonna be a father. I know the basics, but what I learned is on the job training. But God used all this stuff to train you too. It's through being a husband that I learned my relationship with God got better. Because some stuff only you and God know about, only you and God can handle. And I had to learn what those was. I had to learn how to get through all those things. And like I said, still learning. Same thing with my kids, on the job training. And he was using, I believe God uses stuff like that to disciple you. You know what I'm saying? He uses whether it be your job, your marriage, your family, neighbors, friends, those interactions, those relationships. He uses that to train you. You know what I'm saying? He uses people to get to you, and so, I used to be the kind of guy pull off by myself, like, hey man, I'm just going, enjoy myself and, keep my frustrations to a minimum. But now I see things a lot differently. I see people as, you know what, I got to be around people. I got to be in people's lives, and I got to make sure I have a difference, because I had an old head tell me this. He says, at the end of your life, it's not going to be, hey, I made this much money, I did that. It's going to be, what people did I have an impact on? Who you leaving on this earth that's better because you came through. And man, I used to hear that. I heard that 20 years ago, bro. Man, it's real. That's spot on. That's spot on, man. All this other stuff is good to have, but I'm gonna tell you this, man. When you can see somebody's life is better or different, or somebody strong, like I told you, I said I got people, not just here but around the world that I pour into, man. Reason being is because when I leave, I'm gonna leave it all here, so I might as well leave it all on the field now. And so, I look back and I can say, I can name people like, you know what, this person, or they can name me. They can say, hey, that guy made my life better. I thank God for that guy. You know what I'm saying? And that's my goal is to be, man, is you never pour when you're pouring into people. And people are a headache. People can be a headache sometimes, but all in all, I don't regret it. I still don't regret it. I'm still in. I'm still game on.
Well, you talk about our family, so that having that relationship with our children and our wives important, and it's just going to make you better. And then I heard earlier you was talking about how y'all work like a team. Same thing with me and mine. So I'll tell you.
Nice.
Look,
nice.
I always tell her, but this is what I say to her sometimes. I said, babe, what do I do to make you better? Because I could tell you and my audience what she does to make me better. I can tell you right now, man. Listen, since she came to life, I was not a giver at all. I'm a giver. Sometimes somebody like, yo, you gave that much? You giving that? Yeah, I'm a giver. Because and I was talking to one of my coworkers, and the reason why I'm mentioning this, that I was talking to my coworker, is that I was kind of I still love her. Disappointed in my daughter. It's not to talk bad about her. It's just I'm disappointed. I'm trying to make is that my daughter, she gave me a $20 gift card. So I'm like, okay. I said, Mommy, that's all you could have gave Daddy. You could have gave me. Look, you see what I got on, by the way. The 49 Nation.
I see that. I didn't want to comment on that.
So I said you could have bought me. I said you could have gave Daddy a hat. I said you got to listen. You could have been a T-shirt with 49ers. I love 49ers. I said you got to be thoughtful. That's it. I'm not saying that you had to spend a lot of money on me. I'm saying I want you to be thoughtful in your gift giving. You know what I'm saying? And it's not I'm not looking for a whole bunch of stuff. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is show me that you really care. Show me that you really love me. You know what I'm saying? Not by spending a lot of money, but the thought that counts. But you know what? But then I go back and I say, look, God is showing me, how I used to be. But like I said, I don't let things like that get me upset. So, but because I used to be, listen, don't get, like I said, my wife came into my life and taught me how to be a giver. And
that's what's up.
When I was a kid, it was time for Christmas time, and I used to give gifts. Listen, my stepmom, and I look back at these times. I gave my stepmom.
I think I lost
you. How to give at time. And so I was like, oh, that's crazy. And now here I got my own daughters, and I look back and I say, Dad, my baby gave me a little $20 car. And now I wasn't my kids. You know what I'm saying? And Mario, you still there?
Yeah, I can hear you. I will have to wrap up. And speaking of family, I got to wrap up and do some things here. So I'm coming to the end of my time.
So I guess we might be having a little difficulties right now, guys.
Okay, are you able to hear me?
Hopefully, hey Mario, could you hear me?
I can hear you, but your screen is stuck a little bit.
To the end of your time?
Yeah, I'm coming to the end of my time, so I'm gonna have to wrap up.
Let me see. Mario, can you? Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
I just can't see you.
It's funny. I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Can you hear me, Mario?
I can hear you.
Right. Having trouble connecting. Okay. He said having trouble connecting to my brother. Mario, there you go. I guess he was having connection problems. All right.
No, I can hear you.
But so I'm getting ready to end the session, but I just want you to always remember, for my audience, that you can follow me at Chef Dennis -32. That's where the podcast usually be at. You can follow me, like me, also at Instagram, Three Course Catering, 3235. You can follow me there, see some of my work, present some of my menus. Mario, I'm going to send you the menu, a couple of menus of mine that we'll be selling dinners. Nice. And it was a pleasure having you here on this platform. I definitely will be reaching out to you again. Listen, man, it's always a pleasure. I'll see you at TCC, and that's the church that I reside at right now. Gotta give a shout out to the Pastor Tyrone. He's a great pastor. He's a great man of God. Got to give him a shout out. Brother Mario, Brother James. These are brothers that's in my life. God put in my life for a reason. We want to uplift one another. We always want to uplift people as well. You know what I'm saying? And this platform is for encouragement, uplifting, not to tear nobody down. It's not to talk about nothing negative. It's all about positive. So you come on here on the stream, and it's all about positive. If you got nothing negative to say, we encourage you not to come on, because that's all we doing is positive things, positive talks, positive conversations. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we present, and that's what we're going to talk about. So if you missed any of the part of this stream, you always can check it out. It'll be posted, and then and we'll go from there. So, Brother Mario, it was a pleasure. I appreciate it, and I thank you.
Likewise, bro.
I'll talk to you soon. All right.
Be good, my brother. Appreciate you, brother.
All right.
God bless.